Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, and I got a technique lesson for this video today, and we're going to focus on the Dorian mode. So the progression that I was using as our backdrop, and it's real easy set of chords, E minor to A7. E minor 7 to A7. You can always play the E minor pentatonic over that, but if you wanted to know the full, diatonic scale, meaning where the 7 notes instead of the 5 notes, it would be E Dorian. And you can do E Dorian anywhere on the neck. It also happens to be the same scale as the D major scale. So if you play it over E, it's E Dorian. But if you play it over a D root, that's a little theory. Sometimes people call this the Mixolydian shape, but really it's just the same 7 notes of the D major scale anywhere on the neck. But in this particular position, a lot of times you would see A Mixolydian right here, but A Mixolydian and E Dorian are the same notes. So this position I'm showing you right now could be the exact same position for the D major scale, could be the exact same position for E Dorian, which is the context we're using this video for, but it could also be the position for A Mixolydian as well. Modes have that term mode because they are a mode of the same thing. So E Dorian is a mode of the D major scale. A Mixolydian is a mode of the D major scale. Now, if that was confusing, that's okay. A lot of times you get a little bit of this at a time, and then it keeps coming back in your journey, and you get a little more out of it every time. So here's the position. The root, it's E Dorian. So I want to know where my root is. It's on the 7th fret A string. And it's also on the 5th fret B string. So this little loop I had, which is those chords I said, the root. So just for context, how I'm kind of visualizing how all the notes are harmonizing around that tonal center of E. E feels like home. You can leave home and then come back home. Okay, so now just that full position all the way across. On the E string, it's just 5 to 7. So I'm using my middle finger and my pinky. And then on the A string and the D string, it's 4, 5, 7. And then on the G string, it's 4, 6, 7. And then we switch hand positions and get index finger on that root because we're in E Dorian. So that's 5th fret of the B string, 7, and 8. And then 5, 7 on the high E. Let's go back down. Pinky now, I grab 7 of the G. So since I ended it on that A note and started it on the A note, it makes it sound like A Mixolydian. But if I just went through all those notes but started and ended on E, it'll sound like E Dorian. So when we start with that open E, so you can just literally, if you don't have a looper pedal, you can type in E Dorian jam track into anything on the internet and stuff will pop up, and then you can practice this over that. Something else, while we're in this position, is to just find the E minor pentatonic as well. And so that is really good to see because it's no new notes. It's really just taking notes away from that position. So the E minor pentatonic is 5-7, 5-7, 5-7. But remember that E note is the root. And then you have 4-7, and then it's a little awkward, 5-8. And then still 5-7 on the high E, and then we also have the blues note. We also have the classic E minor extended all up and down the neck, can be found within that. So once again, the position for E Dorian right here. And so if you have a jam track, you can just literally experiment first, just going up and down the scale. You know, so literally I was just going up and down the scale. Then you have patterns, groups of, 3. And then also just repeating ideas. And it sounds very different than the blues when you use that. So then whenever you feel like it, or you can experiment with then trying those extra kind of scale notes and then switching to the minor pentatonic, going back and forth. So I'll demonstrate that right now. But one other really powerful thing in the 7-note scales are arpeggios and thirds. So when you do thirds in this position, what you're doing is you're playing a note and then skipping a scale note and playing the next one. So if I have this scale, this part of the scale right here, to do it in thirds, to play the third of that means I skip that. So I go. And if I do it from the next note, it would be. And thirds are the building blocks for chords. So it always sounds good in the scale when you play thirds. Okay, so now I'm going to take that same jam track and I'm just going to try and start. I'm going to stay right in this position and I'm just going to use everything I talked about and I'm going to try and kind of make it obvious so you can watch. But these are the things that you do and I enjoy just experimenting with this stuff, and that's how you build a vocabulary. So I can sit here and just come up with ideas and it develops the more you do it because your ear is listening to yourself. Your brain starts connecting ideas. So anyway, here we go. In this one position, the progression once again is E minor 7 to A7, which means you can play E blues over that whole thing. But I'm going to do E Dorian, which is just 2 extra notes, which are the half steps in there, which is the exact same notes as the D major scale. It's the exact same notes as the A mixolydian as well. Here we go. right, I hope you guys got something from that. I hope it helped. You know, if you're trying to get more from that, you can always go to my website, martymusic.com. In fact, I have a modes course that covers all of this over many, many, many hours of instruction with tabs and the whole thing. So you can check that out at the website. Appreciate the support. If you haven't subscribed to the channel here, you know, tons of videos like this. I've been doing technique videos every Tuesday, so check for this type of content. Also, let me know in the comments stuff you'd like to see that's related to this, you know. I'm always looking at that. Appreciate your support. Hope to see you again. See you later.